We as humans get influenced by environment more than we actually like to admit, even the ones that mastered themselves. Called social influence. This is something we point out in the video Unreachable Expectations, where we mentioned that expectations on our generation today are hopelessly high. Where people in our environment tend to not only put unreachable goals, but the way they do it is with negativity. They demand instead of speaking to us nicely. They require instead of asking politely. And if we don't put our priorities on hold to put their priorities first, we get punished for it, as if our priorities are worth less. Just to clarify one thing here, the expectations on others, not themselves. The one taking the blame would be our generation, which by many is called the laziest one for some kind of reason. Not to mention the higher rate of mental illnesses and the long working hours. When do we actually stamp out? By this I mean that the previous generation had their working hours, which included them stamping in, then stamping out after 8 hours of work. Which meant that whenever they stamped out, they left the thought of work at work and did not bring the work home. They worked their hours and then logged out, leaving them with 8 hours of family time, hobby time, meeting friends. They did whatever they wanted, which meant life worth living. Which in turn meant that they did give back to the body after 8 hours of hard work. Whenever the time came for them to sleep, they went to bed and slept like a baby. So why do I mention this? Well, how does the working hour for our generation look? Do we have actual working hour, and can we go one whole evening without being connected by colleagues or anything that does not later mind disconnected from work? We're connected all the time, 24/7, and are expected to answer phone calls and emails even after working hours. Thanks to technology, we're available all the time for our colleagues to connect us whenever they have an urgent matter. Leaving our mind hanging, always being selectively attention on the phone and potential emails that might drop in. Even when we're supposed to enjoy our free time. And whenever the time comes for us to sleep, we still are required to be able to answer phone calls and potential emails. Not to mention what we are doing to our brain when we constantly, even in our sleeping mode, are in waiting calls. This is not my definition of a good night's sleep. I mean, how many of us have actually slept like a baby? Do we have that luxury anymore? And please do not start with that by, hey, you can leave the phone in another room. Because if we dare to do that brave action might cost our leave. And then they still dare to say that our generation is the laziest one. So the environment has a big play in our well-being. And looking at today's society, we can see a lot of people are living in dogma, letting the life lead them instead of them living life. Too many are basing their life after job schedules and everything that job brings with. Too few dare to go after what they want. Too few dare to break all the shouldn'ts and musts. They think they have to do everything in order for them to be alive. Just let me ask you one question. When you're done with that must, what will happen? Another must will come your way. So what you basically do is find excuses for not going after what you want in life. Has it turned out into a sin to go after what we want? Are we really that bad that we envy and dislike the people that break the patterns and take the risks? We should be giving them high five and wishing them luck. People, we can do better than this. If you were a child growing up with another ethnicity, you probably sometime during your life encountered something a Swede would call kulturkrock, which simply states that you're living a break-even between your parents and their upbringing and their culture, and the culture of the country you're living in today. Which means that you're basically living in the middle of two worlds, doing everything you can to match and balance them both whenever there might be a mismatch. And looking at today's world, we can see a big increase in the multicultural part, where we are a lot of people growing up this way. I as well have another descent where I'm a first-generation Swede with origin from Kosovo, Albania. This said, our past as well as experiences during our youth has a lot to say about the person we are today. And what happens if you, instead of being able to balance these two worlds, let them be imbalance? What happens if an incongruence between these two worlds occurs, where the result becomes that you get drowned in anxiety and depression? Because let's face it, if a person doesn't match the norms we have in our environment today, we exclude them from our gathering. And this can hurt a person a lot, since relativeness is one of our 3 psychological needs. And please don't come with the nonsense of you liking to be alone. Yes, maybe for a while, but since we as humans are social creatures, and the fact that it's a need, it will actually kill you in the end. Clearly. So instead of being rapid in your judgment and excluding people, be a helping hand. Try to understand, and for goodness sake, do not turn away from the hand that's being reached at you. Living in a different culture is hard, and we need to at least make it easier. Remember that these people have 2 sides that try to balance, and with your reception, that balance might be hard to feel. Therefore, try to understand people by getting to know them. Leading us to the last point, women feeling a need to put their life on hold. By this I mean that there are a lot of women out there who are living for others first, putting themselves on second. This has something to do with the fact that we as young girls are raised to take care of others, to help them and listen to them. We as young girls are raised to put others first and not caring for ourselves in first hand. Just one thing here, if we don't care for ourselves, who will? And why are children being raised differently based on gender? Come on, people. It's 2019, we should have mastered that obstacle already. We shouldn't encourage girls to put their life on second. And what about the expectation on us women taking care of the household, do the cooking, take care of the children, do the shopping, and on top of that, please our partners. And God forbid if we forget to wake up in the morning, putting once again our schedules and our lives on hold. And then they still wonder why women's stress rates are increasing. Really? But as women, we're strong and we can manage everything we put our mind to. Everyone can, and the history is the proof of that. So now I'm looking ahead of what's to come with women who dare to put their schedule first. I mean, both partners in our society today are working. So the household, the shopping, the cooking, the children, and the pleasing should be taken care of together with your partner. After all, you're in this together. Interdependence, people. So let us move away from the past and the mindset of the 19th century and open our eyes for the coming with women who dare to live the life they want for themselves. Let us dare.